Hello everybody and welcome back to Thief Gold with Return to the Haunted Cathedral. This is a sort of an end cap mission in terms of the overall plot for Thief Gold. We've completed the previous four, which saw us getting each of the four talismans. We'll need to go in through that door, get into the cathedral itself, and grab the eye for Constantine. So there's been a lot of build up to this point. The objectives are super simple. Just get the eye, leave the cathedral area, and we have a fairly detailed map indicating where we are here. Of course, the blue area is the rough zone that we're in currently. We'll have to get in the cathedral, and then the mission specifies that we need to leave through the Cloister Gate. Taking a look at our gear going in, we've got, of course, our compass. We've got the talismans. We've got just 4 flash bombs, 2 healing potions, and our lockpicks. We did pick up some mines, and we also have a speed potion. As I mentioned in the end of the previous episode, this one is going to see us doing a bit of fighting, or at least some killing. So to help us with that, we've got, of course, Constantine's sword, which means that it allows us to remain hidden more easily when it's drawn. Maybe I can show that off now a little bit, actually. If I get into a place that has some kind of shadow here, all right, like that. Put the sword away, there's no difference. But if I take out, say, my bow, the gem changes slightly. But if that would be equivalent to drawing my sword, the original sword you get. But with Constantine's sword out, notice how the gem darkens slightly. Brighter with the bow, darker with the sword. So just makes it a little easier to have that out and sneaking around, which is really useful in this mission because we're going to have to kill off a bunch of NPCs, or I guess you wouldn't call them NPCs, but creatures. Before we go in, though, let's go around the outside of the building. There may be some loot here, but I'm not totally sure if there is. If maybe there's no loot in this mission. I think there is. There's actually, yeah, I'm quite sure there is a bunch of loot in this mission. It's just that there's no loot objective here. I can hear a ghost walking around there. I'm just looking for these little hammerite hammers, these little golden hammer icons that you sometimes find littered around. So I'm not sure if we're actually going to find any on the ground here. But if we could get some, you know, if we could get a little, try to be a little thorough with the gold in this mission, it'll help us, you know, the next time we need to make a purchase at a shop. But again, I'm not totally sure how, if we're going to find anything out here. Okay, so we're basically back. This is where we were in the Haunted Cathedral mission, where we had to go through the whole part of the old quarter of the city to get up here. And now, the interesting thing about this is the window we could see through to see the eye was right about here, but it's now no longer there. It's a very interesting setup here, and I'm not sure exactly what to make of it, but the eye spoke to us, right, to tell us how to get to the stage where we could get the talisman and get it out. So the eye wants out. So interesting stuff. There's a talisman of air.
So, you are returned with the talismans, you clever man. I did not think it likely that you would succeed.
Alright, so you've returned with the talismans, you clever man. I do not think it likely that you would succeed. Warning, great evil resides in this place, and it is no longer fit for men. The doors are sealed to protect us from that which lies within. Do not remain here. As soon as we go in here, or shortly thereafter, these doors are going to close. They are going to be locked once they both close. Or maybe it's after we leave a certain area. But notice that the doors are auto-closing, and they will auto-lock behind us. Now, in the Dark Project version of the game, you could shove like a skull in there and sort of jam the door open. Grab the eye and leave this way. It's a very easy way to sort of cheese your way past the mission, but they made that not possible any longer. I'm pretty sure as soon as I leave this little foyer, we'll find those doors are locked. Alright, so here we have a Hammerite journal describing the night that the demon kind assaulted them. And the interesting thing about this, I'm noticing for the first time, I've always assumed that demon kind means the undead, right? The type of creatures we're going to find here, zombies, haunts, ghosts. That could be the case, but it is not necessarily the only interpretation of that reading. So in other words, there could be other types of creatures that assaulted the place, because it goes on to say, our own fallen brethren rise from death and turn on us, cold light of flame in their eyes. That could be indicating that the undead that they are fighting were different from the demon kind that they battled with on all sides earlier. So I'm not totally sure, but there is certainly a link, or there seems to be a link between the rise of these undead and the trickster, although as we will see shortly, the basically the happenings of well, I won't get too much into the plot. We'll discover it later. Okay, so that is locked. I don't think there's any reason for me to open it, but I'm just curious if it's pickable, and it is. But I really don't think we need to get in there. Patrolling zombie here. And these doors will close automatically, which is a little frustrating. Now in some of these, I think there's some loot in these windowsills that I can't really see. So I'm getting the flash bomb out to sort of guide me, but I guess not. Alright, we have some loot in here, a couple of candlesticks. And I do have some moss arrows. So we have a lot of tile in this space, so we may end up using them. Other arrows, we don't have any fire arrows yet. We don't have any gas arrows, but we do have 3 rope arrows and 3 noisemaker arrows, as well as 24 broadheads. Water arrows, we got 7, so not a ton there. Yeah, the zombie does go into this room a little. Alright, I'm not sure. Not sure that there's anything up here. There's this readable. Okay, so this is basically telling us that the cellar is the place that we're going to need to get to if we want to get the machinery going. We haven't found any machinery yet, but there definitely is some to be found. Right, a lot of activity over here. There's a haunt, a couple of zombies, another haunt. Both of those zombies are just sleeping. So if we get too close to them or cause any other noise or alarms, they will get up and start searching. I'm thinking there is a patrol that comes out from the left onto this floor. But let's see, there's definitely this patrol up here. And there are these rafters we could get a rope arrow into. Right, there's another zombie right there by the hammer altar. There's actually 2 patrolling haunts here, and right above that hammer is the eye itself, hovering. Get a closer look at it here. So that's what we need to grab. Now, up above it, we do have a rafter for a rope arrow. We also have a door on the 2nd level over there. So we could do a jump or maybe a reach from that 2nd floor. I think what I'll do here is maybe get a rope arrow up as soon as this zombie turns around. There is a piece of loot right here. And we could get in some shadow, maybe. But I'll wait for him to come back and turn around and leave again, and then we'll try that. We'll try heading over to that side. I guess I could walk around here and head in that direction. But I kind of want to check out this area first. This is another mission that I know there are some things that I need to do, but I just can't remember the best order. So, thankfully, this area is kind of small enough. Okay. Alright, I wish he was turning the other way. Alright, are we good? I can't remember if there's any other patrollers in this area. Nothing over here. What did we pick up? Alright, I think we already had 4 flash bombs, so maybe we get an extra healing potion. Okay, no, it's moss arrows. We now have 9. I don't think we can pick this. So, one thing we could do, this stairwell is going to be important to us, but maybe we can cruise around up here first. Get a nice view here of what's going on. There's a diamond on that rafter. I think I will grab my rope arrow back. Some more loot. We are now looking at 250. Okay, this goes over that area. We have some nice shadows here, but their patrol is pretty short, so we're going to get some alerts from them. we raised like a first alert. Okay, the bell tower here. That is... Maybe, actually, it probably was water arrows. I think we were at 7, so now we're at 9. Alright, and up here we'll grab this diamond. Okay, I'm remembering this level now. Alright. So, one of the things we're going to have to do is a bunch of tasks for a ghost we're going to meet. A friendly ghost, but one who gives us a lot of work. One of the tasks is going to involve burying his friends. This is one of those friends. I'm going to save myself a little bit of time now and just grab him so that I don't have to do it later. Fortunately, because Brother Martello here is deceased, we do not have to worry about him falling to his death and failing the mission. We need to get him out back to the cemetery, which is, let's see, yeah, all the way over here. So we're right about here now, so we'll have to bring him kind of a long way. But we can at least get him in an easier place to deal with. Once these guys move in a way that I'm comfortable with, I'll get him down. Okay, we're good. Now, do I want to get down here? I don't think there's any loot here. We are going to want to go over there because we need to get the eye, of course. I'm not sure if I want to do that right now. But I'm kind of thinking we may as well. May as well get, you know, some of these jobs taken care of. Is this the most convenient place for him? Probably not. What I'm going to do then is see if I can drop him right there. Perfect. And if I get down to that door, and if I can get in, it's going to be tricky because of the light. Let's just drop down. Okay, we didn't take any damage. See what's in this door. I think it's nothing. Right, okay, so this is an elevator that we can't use right now because we do not have the power on. We can get the power on by going into the cellar. I'm going to drop down, though, because there may be some loot down here or something useful in a side room. Alright, we've got a goblet straight ahead. And over here. Alright, so the eye has been moved once again to the vault in the cellar. But then they find it floating over the high altar each morning. So there's some weird stuff going on with this eye. However, this does tell us that the vault is in the cellar. So that's something we could go and try to get. Now, I I want to say there's something up here that like I could sort of feel with my hand. Like a piece of loot. But that flash bomb is not changing in size, which means that I'm not like selecting anything. All right, fair enough. So now I think the only way out of here is this door. There's a zombie right there. There's a haunt right there. I think we can get in front of this guy pretty easily. And we're not going to want to go back that way because I think the entrance is boarded up. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but one of those doors is actually boarded up, and we would have to bash it with our sword to open it. All right. Oh, geez, they do patrol right over here. Okay, so actually, let's go back around. The boarded up area is on the second floor, not this one. Yeah, this is fine. This takes us back out to the main foyer, I guess. And here we'll find that the doors are still open, but probably what's going to happen is maybe it's when I grab the eye that they get locked. So I could have sworn there was a little hammer up here. Maybe it's on the floor or something. Alright, how do I want to play this? So we've got Brother Martello over there. How about this? We'll go check out the cellars right now. This here is a pretty safe area. Okay, here's Brother Muris. Burial of our beloved Brother Muris last week. The feeling that something was wrong. Brother Martello was a friend of him. Martello was the corpse we just picked up. If we leave through this door, we're going to run into Brother Muris. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to actually do anything with him before we have the eye, but possibly. What I want to do now is visit the cellar. Okay, we just turned on some lights. I'm actually not sure if that's the best idea. But maybe that is the switch actually that turns on all the machinery. How about this? We'll turn it off now, make our lives a little bit easier to maneuver in this area. And we're after a couple of things in this sector. Alright, we're in the wine cellar now. And here's where we find a little bit of loot, as well as this second body we're going to need. This is Brother Renault. And again, I'm doing this all out of order just because I know that it's coming. And trying to save myself a little bit of backtracking. Alright, you know what? Let's just drop him here and we'll go back. There's some stuff in here that I want. Now I seem to remember there's some kind of trap around here which can alert them and possibly do some damage. So I'm going to try to avoid that. I'm not sure where it is though. I think it's a pressure, like a tile that I step on. So possibly it's right around here in front of that candlestick. Where the eye was kept, but it's now empty. And I think we've got everything out of here that we can. So hopefully that ghost or zombie don't come down this part of the hall. Alright, what's that? There we go. That's the machines. And what's in here? Oh, just a privy. Okay. So I think the lever we pulled means that now the elevators are working. So this switch, I'm guessing then, is just the lights, and I probably don't need to switch it on. But just in case I'm misremembering, I'll do that. We'll bring Brother Renault up. And I think we're good if we put him here. There's some very disconcerting laughter that triggers when you come into this area. Now, once we grab the eye, there's going to be a lot more activity in this stairway, in this whole zone. So we're going to want to minimize the number of times we go back and forth, which again is kind of why I'm doing these things a little bit out of order. But I want this zombie to come out here because I'd like to go down that hallway. Is he going to come over here? No, not all the way. And what I think I want to try is running over behind him. Alright, they'll turn away. He's going to go in there, and he's going to turn down this hallway. Let's just see. There is a little hammer down there. Alright. I can see it in the window. So we'll go after that. I was just a little out of reach, but now I know where it is. Jeez, come on, don't make me jump for this thing. Alright. That was loud, but hopefully it's okay. So we'll go back around. And actually, we can try out the elevator now. I'm not sure if this will alert anybody. Alright. Elevator definitely works. And here we are on the second level with Brother Martello right there. And these haunts. So, question is, can we get over there, unlock that door, because I think it is locked, and do it all without this guy or the other haunts seeing us. I think there's a tiny bit of shadow. I think there's just enough to do it. Alright, we're in a nice shadow now, and we definitely got some alerts from those haunts. But otherwise we're good. We do have a readable in here, and I think that's it. This is just basically saying, you know, the Cloister Gate goes out to the city. So from here, we could, I think, just reach over and grab the eye. It's a bit touchy, though, because we're not in... Okay, we do have a good shadow here. So let's see if we can do that. Not quite.
Well done, thief. Now that you have attained your prize, can you escape with your skin?
Alright, we've got the eye, we've got some haunts, some ghosts running around. We got zombies up, look at all the activity now. Crazy. I don't think they can get here, though. From the second floor, that zombie just passed into that door. He could come out that door and go across the little catwalk, but that's boarded up. The only way up is through the elevator, which is currently at the second floor, and which I don't think the AI can use anyway. So we should be all set. They're going to quiet down in a little bit, but one thing we have to do anyway, which is going to break stealth, is kill all of the haunts in this mission. So there are, I think, 3 in here, and maybe there's another one now in that stairwell. I think there's like a total of 9. Now, if they go back to their regular patrols, we'll get a better sense of it. But it looks like they walk around a little more broadly than I remember. I thought they just went back to their typical short walkabout. Directly below us, there's a room with, I believe, a holy water font. Okay, so we still have 3 haunts in here, but some of them go in that door. That's what I was thinking. So now to get back over here, what I would have to do is either drop down and go over and up, or time it really well and take the slightly shorter route. I think that's what I'm going to go for right now. Come on. Okay. That actually went pretty decent. Alright, no one is over there. No one can come this way. I'm going to go ahead and drop Martello down. So, how do we kill haunts? Well, like any undead, they're susceptible to flash bombs, to holy water, to mines, to really anything that does physical damage, with the exception of the blackjack. However, haunts can be backstabbed, and that is probably the, in some ways the easiest and certainly the stealthiest way to deal with them. Dropping a mine itself creates noise, and that draws attention, and then the mine exploding, of course, draws more attention. So to me, it's usually not the most efficient way to do it, but we've got them, we're definitely going to use them. What I'm wondering about now is whether I want to use one of my moss arrows, and I think the answer here is yes. We want to get into a place where we can kind of freely move quickly and quietly as we deal with these undead. What are you doing? Okay. Alright, that's one haunt down. However, they are aware of it. And so I want a rope arrow up here just as insurance. In fact, maybe... Okay. We're in a nice shadow here. They can't find me now. So, one haunt is down. 2 to go. I'll worry about that rope arrow later. There's another one coming. We don't need to kill the zombies. We don't need to kill the ghosts. I don't think. Just these guys. Alright, maybe we should move over there. There's a lot of activity on the west side of the cathedral. Okay, but we'll see if we can get this guy. There's a zombie right behind him, though. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to pick up Martello here. And we're going to find somewhere else to hang out, I think on that end. Lot going on here. Okay. Alright, they're looking. And so we need to be careful. We got 4 flash bombs, which would be enough to do a lot of damage to this whole crowd. But it's good to save those for, like, a real emergency. Alright. Come on. Alright, now is a flash bomb time. That did it. Let's figure out where I am. Okay. So he saw me, or heard me. Alright, so now do I want to get this rope arrow back? I'm thinking maybe. pretty easy, actually. Alright, I don't know that anybody patrols in here. There is a holy water vial, which we may use. And now the trick is getting out. Because again, there's a lot more activity over by these stairs. And actually, now that I think about it, I'm kind of glad I have a speed potion for this level, because we're going to be hauling bodies around a little bit. Door feels like it's on a super short timer. Alright, right here. We good? I think we're good. 3 haunts down. Now, we do have one locked door up there, and we won't be able to get that for a little bit. But here's the next part of our mission right there.
Welcome to the majestic and splendid Hammer Cathedral. How pleasing to welcome new initiates into our fold. I am Brother Murus, and I will be thy spiritual guide. I see that thou art tired from your journey, so I'll leave thee be. But if thou needst my help, I can be found down in the cloister.
Alright, so he'll be our spiritual guide, he says, which is a pretty funny pun. And he'll be down in the cloister. So here's the Cloister Gate. I'm not sure exactly what he means by the cloister, but I guess he means just this general area. So I think we next see him down here. What we need to do now, as far as we know, the objectives are the same, is just leave the cathedral area. So that's through here and around. Now, I do have a couple of bodies here that I know need to go off into the north. I'm not sure if I want to get them with me just yet, because it's going to be kind of difficult to move with them. But we can actually dump them down the stairs there. I'll grab them out of here anyway. Oh, are you looking for me? Don't you even. Okay, here's another haunt. This would be a pretty decent area to ambush him, I think, if there's no one else around. So I think what we'll do is we'll come back. We've got the 2 bodies there that we need. That little garden area straight ahead and off to the right, I think, has some stuff like water arrows, maybe some loot. But at any rate, I don't think we really need it. So here comes the haunt. And you know, I'm thinking the one who saw me just now when I went out to hit him, I wonder if it wasn't that he saw me so much as that he felt me with the sword out. So I'm going to keep my sword sheathed just for a second. Oh, for crying out loud. Alright, let's get out of here. This is awful. This is awful. 1, 2, 3. And that's all of my ones of those. Alright, he is now looking for me. We're gonna burn. Okay. Alright, we still have the timer on our holy water arrow, so I guess if we really wanted to, you know, kill any other monsters, now might be the time. We've got about 5 seconds. I'm just not sure that it's worth it. Yeah, it's gone. Alright, we used a couple of arrows. We used all of our flash bombs. We're going to have to be very careful now. Those haunts, Alright, are you looking for me? Oh my gosh. Those haunts are, you know, swordsmen, of course, and so they're pretty dangerous. Come on, man. Oh my gosh. Damn it. Alright, zombies are dumb. You can lose zombies. Let's see. What I would have loved to do back there, if they didn't start searching for me, was to backstab one of them and just leave him to drop in that garden area, because I have no reason to go back there. Of course, backstabbed zombies will get up if you walk near them again, but you know, I wouldn't do that over there. If I backstab him over here, though, there's almost no point. I'm going to be coming back through this hallway a few more times. So, right, they're going away. Maybe I will try the door. Alright. Oh, jeez. We got a vase. Alright, we go upstairs or continue down there. There's a healing potion, a book. Are you coming down the stairs or no? That's a no. This is a tough place to deal with. I don't think we want to go that way, though. Alright, turn right. He's not turning right. Okay. Not sure if this is a safe spot. I can drop down here, but I can't remember if there's just going to be zombies down there. some water arrows. Notice I haven't put, like, any lights out. Alright, this is a way out. However, let's just head up here real quick. I think there's some stuff. We have a fire arrow. Come on, get me down. Alright, that was allowed. Do have... Damn it. Alright. Let's hope they don't follow us, and here's our friend, Brother Miras, once again. Let's get close enough to trigger.
Aha, our newest acolyte. Thou seems to have gotten thyself into some trouble, And from the looks of thee, I'd say thou art used to trouble. Well, I can help thee escape this desolate place, if thou wilt help me with something. Since thou clearly camest here to collect things, thou can start by collecting some things from me. All brothers have rosary beads, so thou'lt need some too. Thou canst borrow mine. I think I left them in my room. I'd remember that it was so nice to look out over the fountain in the garden. So be a good lad and bring me my rosary.
All right. So this is the first of several objectives we will have from Brother Miras. Notice that this is a nice and vague one. Aid the ghost of Brother Miras in order to escape. So the first one is to get his rosary. He said it was overlooking the garden and the fountain, and so that we're going to have to go back inside the place we just came out of to do that. I think that's up in the second story, and there's a chest, and there's a bunch of zombies, so it's going to be quite the time. We'll see how that goes. I think, though, this makes a good point to break the episode up. We've got the eye. However, we know that it's not going to be so easy as just leaving. We're going to have to explore different areas of the cathedral here and see what this ghost is trying to do in order to get out. So this will continue in part 2 of Return to the Haunted Cathedral. See you then.